Hello and welcome to Single Parent Success Stories. Today I have a wonderful guest, Susanne Baumbach, joining us from Germany. She is a mindset coach working for the Proctor Gallagher Institute and a single mom of 5. She is passionate about empowering women, marine conservation, and diving. Welcome, Susanne. It is a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Big privilege for me.
Thank you. So share with us, how did you become a single parent?
Well, I am one of those people who grew up, with a very low self-image. My father has been battling alcohol now for 45 years. Mm-hmm. So I believe that laid the foundation for me. Growing up, I think everybody in my surrounding had a low self-image, including the cats and the dogs, like everybody. Mm-hmm. My mom never made it out of this, relationship with my father, and settling for emotionally unavailable man was already, something I was used to.
Yeah.
And being in this environment, I was never able to develop a good relationship with myself. Never. I always felt that this marriage is as good as it gets, because when you see a kid, they kind of think whatever is around me, that is what's in for me. That's the cake for me. And yes, I wanted more, but still I didn't have good role models in my life. So growing up, I was very insecure. I had atopic dermatitis for a long time. Mm-hmm. It was so bad that I used to cross the street because I was scared people would look at me. Perceived myself ugly, perceived myself as unworthy because of my, home, my upbringing. And yes, my parents did the best they could, but still, whatever happens around the kids think it's about them, it's their fault, they are responsible. Mm-hmm. And so, I never really addressed everything. I never went to a self-help group. I never went to coaching. I never went to therapy. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, like the first man kind of that looked at me happened to be the man that I married.
Right.
So, we always choose what is comfortable for us. Yes, it's not comfortable growing up with parents that don't have a good self-esteem, good self-image, but it's what we get used to.
Right.
So, the marriage, today when I reflect back, it happened all for a reason. Mm-hmm. Whatever happened in this marriage, and I'm not going to go into so much into details, but whatever happened in that marriage, it happened for a reason for me to wake up one day and really address myself.
Right.
And let's say, in particular, when a relationship, when a marriage or whatever is dysfunctional and abusive or whatever, it will never start from the first day with, verbal abuse or whatever. It goes gradually deeper and deeper and deeper. And in my case, with this marriage, I didn't pay attention in the beginning that it's not the right person for me. But again, I need to say I wasn't the right person for me either, because I had low self-image. I was seeking validation from everything around me but me. I was seeking guidance from everybody around me but me. Mm-hmm. That went on for about 9 years. And after 9 years, I couldn't be in that spot anymore.
Right.
There was, the choice even, being in a shelter. Mm-hmm. The shelters don't, they would call and they have space. We can have a woman inside. In my case, I didn't have space for me and my 5 kids. Right. And of course, the hardest thing for me is this whole bargaining with ourselves. Is it really that bad? What else can I do? And me coming from a background with dysfunction from home is already a place where nobody really sets healthy boundaries. Mm-hmm. It's more about, this mental crazy game What else can I do? Could I cut back on my wants even further? And when I watch today maybe a video of mine, or I see photos of myself of that era where I was still with him, I see a woman of fear. I see a woman who has cut her own identity so much back. But I wasn't necessarily only scared about this relationship. I was scared of my mental state.
Right.
Because when we live in constant fear, we are on mere survival in any situation. We don't trust ourselves anymore because we know from our gut feeling we shouldn't be in that place with that person anymore, and it is not good that you are in that place anymore. And still, this whole moment of stress every day tricks us into thinking that we are meant to be there, and I felt frozen. I was frozen. I couldn't take any logic decision anymore. And it was like when I was within in a room, my body would feel like I burned from inside, you know, like it wasn't a good place. And today I feel like, you know, the biggest fear for me was always, it wasn't about a marriage breaking down. It wasn't about how I provided for my kids. The scary thing was for me to face my inner demons. What is it in me that attracted this type of relationship? What inner spots didn't I see about myself that kept me in a situation that is not good for me? And, you know, after being a single mom, you know, of course, it's more like legal stuff, you know, the legal titles, where can you be, the financial aspect. And I feel like back then, you know, I was so in survival, but I would have needed so much more than hearing from where do you get government aid, from where can you get money to pay a lawyer. It would have been more somebody to really listen to, but really help getting me out of this circle of always bad emotions, bad thoughts, bad feelings. I was going like a hamster in a wheel all the time. And, you know, let's suppose somebody is in an abusive relationship for a long time. You get addicted to abuse because it's constant conditioning, right?
Right.
When when we are with somebody who maybe mistreats us, you know, in a certain way, we already, for some reason, and I think it's survival, we adopt this kind of mentality of what and when is it coming the next time. And the woman coming out of this, I mean, you know, with kids, they are especially vulnerable. And I was, it took me about, I would say 4 or 5 years until I was able to go to a therapist. But I didn't go mainly because of the marriage to a therapist. I went to, you know, address my inner child issues from growing up with, you know, alcoholism at home. And still I feel it wasn't enough because therapy does some, but coaching gets deeper. It goes into, you know, what is the inner dialogue? What goes on within you? How can you change your self-image? What thought patterns do you have? What kind of beliefs do you hold? How can you replace them? And this is, you know, I am thankful for having gone through all this. No, it wasn't fun at all. And still, I think now leaning back, it might be that I always was a single mom. I never believed that I was gonna have maybe a wholesome relationship, marriage, family, or something like that. Because my mom was also in a certain way a single mom because she had to cope with everything by herself. My father couldn't, he wasn't able, he wasn't available. he was there, but he wasn't available.
Right. Yeah.
And
it's been difficult, and you look so much better now, and you're able to speak about it. I was in a similar situation, and I feel so much better now. And yeah, we cannot change the past. We can use the past to take the lessons, and with those lessons move forward. And it is important to speak a truth. And yes, when two people come together, there is a compromise that we make, but there is a point to what compromise is acceptable and what's not. Because when we don't listen to those warning bells in our head, like this is not right, but we let it slide because we want to be compliant, we don't want to fight. Then a year later, we can turn around and not recognize yourself anymore. Like you mentioned, you look at the pictures of your previous self and you don't recognize who is that person.
yeah, but still, the warning signs, there were plenty. Plenty, and I have chosen not to listen into that because I was blinded by low self-image, by fear. This traditional thing, you don't break up a marriage when you have 5 kids, right?
Right.
Because when you have 5 kids, kind of you're bound together. No, I'm not. But still, it's this concept, like, there's certain societies, religions, you don't break up a relationship, a marriage. It's like, this holy thing. And still, I feel, if it's not working, then, get up, go. I mean, counseling cannot help always. It's like, you can put a plaster on it, but if the wound stings, it's not going to help.
Yeah, because it's all, you come, you share what's on your heart, but then you go back to your life. You go back to the same thoughts, to the same feelings and emotions, and the day-to-day living of stress of you gotta do this and this, and while feeling everything that you are still feeling.
Yes, and I feel even, for everybody, mindset is really important. Mindset study. Don't study books, don't study any literature. Study you. Study about your mind, study about subconscious mind, and really face the demons that you have inside. I had this all the time, blah, blah, blah. No. The only person that can be the hero in my story is me. Or the crazy one in my story. Either way. But still, that was my kind of hope. And this is the hope that everyone has. The romantic literature is even enforcing it, like they meet and they are so happy, and then he drops down on one knee, and then the other, and then the ring, and everybody's so happy.
Yes,
but they forget something. But they forget something in those stories, We have all a unique belief system.
Yes. Yeah, it's always about the happily ever after, but you only see the beginning of the story. You don't know how the story happens afterwards. And what do you do in a situation when you cannot be together for whatever reason? And it's not to say one person is right and the other is wrong. We are both at fault because we attract what we are inside. Even though we choose to not to admit, like, how is it possible? I'm not that like that, but yes, we are deep, our inner demons, and it takes time to heal, and it takes time to resolve. But as society put it, like, what is normal? So when I was coming out of my relationship, everywhere I looked, I was the only single person. Single mom, because everybody was together, and here I was this weird one. And looking for what is normal. What does normal look like? And when I find out that we define our own normal. We
Yeah.
cannot, and yeah, on the outside, all those married people, they look happy because you don't know what's going on inside. And here you are like, how am I gonna continue living? How, because this is what society has created, and how do I fit in? Because we all want to fit in. We want to belong somewhere. So it becomes difficult, kind of facing what's on outside and what's inside, and how do you fit in? How do you feel whole again?
Yeah. But maybe it's maybe also an upbringing thing. I mean, girls play. They have the fairy tales where she finds him or he finds her. Like the grossest fairy tale is Cinderella. I mean, come on. Come on. She's cleaning all the time, and like the only day she gets off, she gets into a dating with somebody. She never even had a life. And I also found, what is also gross is like, the Sleeping Beauty. I mean, she wakes up after 100 years, and the first question is if she wants to get married. Like, seriously? And so, like this concept of, we have, like, you grow up, you marry somebody, you raise children together, is like the norm, right?
Yes.
And then there are single moms today that break out of a relationship and they build their own business. It's like totally the opposite of it.
Yeah.
A single mom said, a single parent means you define your life in you. You claim different parts of life that in other settings might be in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then you are the single mom. You are one of those. Like, she's one of those. She's like this, she did this. And that was the feeling for me after that. Like, oh my God, you're a single mom. Now you have to put your own wants always to the back burner. Mm-hmm. Don't think about dating until the children are grown up. Everybody had an opinion about it. Everybody. And I was in between all these opinions, like everybody had a say about it.
Right.
What if we as women would say, we don't buy into this anymore? Mm-hmm. In Berlin, I think every fourth or fifth woman is single mom. Mm. Wow. I don't know what happened here in the city, but there are so many single moms here. And that's just all the reason why we'll succeed. As I understood from people, it was always like, yeah, you have to put yourself on the back burner, you're gonna make it. And when I was asking for a training to work in an office, mm-hmm. I said, no, you can't do it because you raise 5 children alone. You have 5 children, stay at home with your children. I thought like, no, why would I? Am I kind of handicapped? And this is the thing, being single parent, it's not a handicap. Not by us, not by anybody. It's not a handicap for our children. Mm-hmm. And I always felt, maybe because of a marriage that broke down, I need to overcompensate by my kids. They don't even ask that either. Mm-hmm. Okay. And we are not broken. No single parent, no single mom is broken. There's just no such thing. There is no broken family. There's no broke person either on this planet. It's a persistence that some people hold on, this perception that plan A didn't work out, so something is broken. What if we could adopt to an idea that it was never broken? It was just not meant to be this way. Sometimes, stuff happens in order to work out. I wouldn't be the strong woman that I am today if I would have stayed with him.
Yeah. What kind of advice would you give your younger self?
As a joke, don't try too many different hair colors because my son keeps saying he's already dizzy looking at me. No, honestly, go for coaching. Go for coaching. Go for coaching is so important because I never really invested in myself. after he left, me actually taking my books out and putting them on the shelf in the living room was a big one, because I used to have to hide my books from him and I didn't read crazy stuff. The first time I ever really invested in myself was after the marriage got dissolved and we have sold our house that we owned in Israel together. I invested some part of it into coaching for me. And I felt it was time, and I was scared about it. I remember in 2005, when I saw Bob Proctor the first time in the movie Secret, I thought he's crazy. Because in one scene he says, you should love yourself so much, you should kiss your hand. And I'm looking at this guy and I feel like, okay, this guy is strange. Like, why would I kiss myself? Now, when in 2019, I thought, no, I want to make a change. Something has got to change about my life. Mm-hmm. And I signed up by the Proctor Gallagher Institute and I signed up for coaching, and actually financially investing in myself, in something that is not pedicure, not manicure, not clothes, felt like, it was very scary for me, because I thought something's going to change. So really, if I advise for my younger self, it would be number one, even if you feel like there's evidence of the fact that you're not going to make it, there's unseen forces that protect you. Study you and learn to love you. Learn it. Because at some point we did. We all loved ourselves. But somebody said something, or something happened in our life that we have forgotten. We have forgotten, but it's still there. Study yourself. And this is the thing, it's not going to end at all. And what I would also tell my younger self is, you attract what you are and what you believe you are worthy of. And this is the thing, we might not consciously know about it, but we can see what is drawn to us in our life, and then we see what we believe. And it's not meant to beat ourselves up, but it's a good orientation.
Yeah.
And for God's sake, don't date anybody. I mean, like, seriously, there was this joke, somebody said, I must have been really bored to really date somebody like you. I didn't date, but still, I was wishing so much for companionship. Mm-hmm. Yet another trap that people can fall in, single parent, oh my God, I need a partner to make everything work in life. No, it's gonna be fine. If you don't know how to, put a nail into the wall, hire somebody. If you need a man by your side, learn diving like me. So you have a man by your side, it's all good, it's all good.
Yes, I love your advice, and I can relate as well. The coaching has tremendously helped me be the person that I am today.
Yeah. And there's more even.
Because we are this only person, and if we don't invest in ourselves, we are the product of our life. And when we live with certain conditioning as children, as we grow up, by absorbing beliefs of people who raise us, educators, figures of authority. And when we take those beliefs and we believe in them and we make it our own, we are on a bad path for ourselves. And in order for us to break away and recognize those beliefs, that's where the coaching really helps, because it's not just pouring out what you have on your heart, or if this person this or that. You actually get to study, like you said, about yourself, and what are some of those things that we can often not see the label from the inside. We have this label, like who we are and how we see ourselves, and when we're on the inside, we don't really see it. So we need another person's perspective, like a coach who can see, like, what was the thinking that got you into the situation? What did you believe about yourself that got you to the place that you are, where you are in life. And coaching really helps with that. I can attest.
At the best, we can laugh about it, but it's not funny. But for some reason, you know, we need to go through this. Face maybe the fact, and that you know, we didn't treat our it's frozen. You know, if you don't treat ourselves with thoughts, with beliefs that we deserve, it might be something that we picked up from somebody in our family. Maybe it's not even our fault, not our belief. Somebody from our grandparents was thinking something and they transmitted it to us because it's energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a bit like, you know, in Lord of the Rings, Gollum. He's always between good and bad. He's always struggling, always struggling. At one hand, he's really kind. I call my paradigm Gollum. It's not always funny, but what if we said that we were always perfect, we just have forgotten?
Yes. Yeah. What do you think is the most important belief to instill in a child?
That God created you perfect. There's perfection in you. And kids believe that. A baby will not complain about, you know, chubby here, chubby there, whatever. They sit there and they are chubby. I mean, even like if the baby is really like big, they are happy because they have this belief, the world is mine. The world is friendly. And every one of us has this deep down inside. It's still intact. It's still, you know, I was reading a book about faith. Faith means basically you realize that you were never broken. You were never broken. That is something that we tell ourselves. But this is a faith thing, you know. God created all of us perfect. There's perfection in every one of us.
Yeah.
Even if we are hot mess single moms, one of those days, you know, that never happened by me. And yeah.
Awesome. What do you want to be remembered by?
I want to be remembered by how many people I helped, how many people's lives I changed, and by how much global impact I do in marine conservation.
What is the causes you are passionate about?
My courses?
Your causes, your cause. So you mentioned marine.
Okay. So the course that I studied by Bob is Thinking into Results. That is the absolute game changer. Let's say me 3 years ago, I wouldn't have been in front of the camera. I wouldn't have done lives. I wouldn't have talked to people. Like, I was so scared about anything. Me actually starting to invest in myself is because of Thinking into Results. Me diving, you know, because of Thinking into Results. Me snorkeling with humpback whales because of Thinking into Results. And, you know, I never understood that I think into results all the time. But this is what this program taught me. And we always manifest. So, yeah.
Do you have a daily practice that you do for yourself?
Yes. Mornings. First thing I do is I pray. I'm Jewish, so I say my morning prayers. I write up my goal, like, you know, I'm so happy and grateful now and then. I have an affirmation that is really important that I want to give also every single parent. Say to yourself, I'm so happy and grateful now that I am an asset for everybody that comes in contact with me, but really embody it. What if every one of us on this planet would walk around and say, I am an asset, not a liability. I am of value. Then the next thing that I do is gratitude. Like 5 things that I'm grateful now. Yeah. And 5 in future, but also grateful what did I learn about myself. And I say my affirmations and I ask for guidance for the day. Get quiet and really what I do is I have a goal. I ask God, what is my part? What shall I do? And it would tell me maybe have faith, have more confidence. Last week it told me whom to message on social media, like really where to look for somebody, go to that account, go to that account, go to that account, and then message the person. Mm-hmm. Really interesting because, it's like intuition, it's God talking to us. And then I have about 4 minutes that I visualize me with the goal achieved. And during the day, like when I clean, I have earphones on. I listen to one of Bob's programs because I feel that the more I hear of this information, the more I can change. Yes. I almost never watch television. I mean, the only stuff I watched was something about Adelaide, who couldn't get old, and Bridgerton. So I didn't watch it once, I did watch it twice. But never mind, Bridgerton is always good. Mm-hmm. But beyond that, no news, nothing. If my kids wouldn't have told me that Germany changed the chancellor, I wouldn't have known it. Like all of a sudden, I knew Angela wasn't there anymore. Mm-hmm. Yes. But if I would have stood next to this guy who is now our chancellor, I would have thought he's selling insurances. I didn't even know. So that is my ignorance. That this is single moms can also squeeze in. Even if you're busy, visualize in the morning for a minute, visualize in the evening, and write a gratitude list. Yes. Do fitness. Work out maybe 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes. If I can with 5 kids, anybody can. It's like no issue. Yes, yeah. I totally relate to your practices. I do the same. And as far as, when you clean, we want to always plant good seeds in our head. And so the more you listen, then the beautiful things then will sprout. And by the fact that you avoid the news, avoid the negative influence, you keep your mind sane, you keep it clear, and by planting good seeds, you will have a good harvest. Yeah. And with finances, I always say, being single parent is a good place to be because then you are able to have a look yet again at what you really want. Everybody of us has greatness and a gift. Everyone. But number 1, get to know yourself. And secondly, see how you can monetize it. There's single moms who run multi-million-dollar brands. I mean, seriously, you can do anything. And yeah. Yeah. Is there anything exciting in your life that you're working on right now that you want to share? Yes. I'm doing a workshop from the 16th until the 18th of August. All about goals and inner self, inner talk, secret self. I'm really, really, really excited about talking about these topics because I feel that this is really key. Number 1, you want to know where you're going. And secondly, you want to know with whom you're going. And it's always going to be our secret self. And those 2 points are so important for everybody, single moms especially, because we are tended very often to think that we have to grind, that we have to struggle, that we have to put ourselves out first in order to, sacrifice everything in our life in order to help our kids. No. Leading means working daily on your best. And the material that I share is from Napoleon Hill, it's from Bob, from Neville. Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything I haven't asked that you want to share? It's only It's your chance in life now. If you want to dye your hair red, do it. If you want a piercing, which is so uncommon amongst single moms, do it. If you want a career change, do it. If you feel like you want to do something different, do it. Because whenever we ask ourselves, maybe I want to try out something new, then it's intuition saying, do it. Mm-hmm. Just do it. Like, you know, it could be that maybe we make a decision and then in the end it's not the right decision. It's going to lead to another decision. But not making a decision makes, you know, makes us worryful and fearful. So yeah, just remember, and this is the thing what I want to say to everybody, remember you're a daughter of a king or a son of a king. God doesn't want us to be broke. He doesn't want us walking around on this planet thinking we are broke. He doesn't want us unhappy, but we can only be happy if we study ourselves. It's not gonna work. We cannot walk around on this planet with this thing, you know, the self, myself, you know, self-development means we develop the self, self-esteem. What esteem can you hold of something that you don't know? What is the self? Yeah, that was so scary for me. What is yourself? Like, is it my brain? Am I maybe deep down a totally bad person? We cannot relate to something that we don't know. Yeah. And we will never fully grasp it. But still, just, you know, if a single mom is teaching herself to face herself, her kids are going to do the same. We are not going to settle anymore. We are going to say, listen, my mom is thriving, I thrive, and it's causing a ripple effect then. Yes. And you know, my rabbi, he was so funny, said to me the other day, listen, how about you get married again? I said, listen, nice idea, but first I better be drunk. That was when I still was hurting. But, you know, also, if we seek for, you know, a partner or something, it's going to come in due time. I'm not pressured by this. Yeah. Me too. Yes. And, you know, how about, you know, we just simply write a script. What type of life do we really want? Not what we think is possible based on our circumstances, but what do we really want? It's our chance in life, and we can make it happen. Yes. I'm totally right there with you. I'm all for following dreams and deciding to be happy now. And it's not to say it's always unicorns and rainbows, but it's the state with which you live and the ability of you to create anything. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And if we can create less, what we think is less, we can create the other way around also. Yeah. If people would like to find you or work with you, where would they go? So I have a group on Facebook, which is called Diving into Abundance Academy. Mm-hmm. In the beginning, it was Reclaim Your Life, 1.5 years ago. On Instagram, I think I gave you the link. Yeah. Susanne Baumbach. And on TikTok, it's Sunflower097. My kids weren't so keen that I am on TikTok because it's like, you know, present. On TikTok, it's a bit tricky, you know, when you have teenagers, like, you know, you don't want to see your mom in the feed when you. But then I said, never mind, I'm doing this to help people. Yeah, it's a beautiful area. I mean, today we can reach so many people with social media and help people get information, get material. It wasn't ever as good as it is now. So true. Yeah. I will include all of the links in the episode notes so people can directly connect with you.
Thank
Yes.
you so much for coming on and sharing your story. I really loved having you.
Thank you. Likewise.